Welcome back, everyone, to this week's lesson on learning ancient hieroglyphics so we can talk to aliens and cows and anything else hanging out in Egypt. Okay, maybe not so much the cows, but you can definitely talk to the aliens. All right, speaking of aliens, they must have wiped my brain again because once again I made a slight mistake in the homework. Only with the very, very last glyph there, that determinative. I put the determinative for a sun. I should have put the determinative for a town, which is an X in a circle, not a dot. Oops, I'm so sorry. I hope this didn't screw you up. All right. Well, because this was a determinative, and hopefully you were just working on all of the the actual sounds and the translating and transliterating, it would still read. So I'm hoping I didn't mess you up too much. That first word, the first glyph, ew, that of course is your signpost that you're about to go into the past tense. So it's transliterated but not spoken. So we've got that signpost out of the way, and now we have our first past tense verb, which is the verb for I saw. You know it's I saw because we have the word to see, ma'a, with the determinative of the I moved under the first letter for graphical transposition, which we're going to be getting into again this week. All right, moving forward, we have our proper noun. Hopefully you picked up on this from lesson last week. It's not actually, a word in hieroglyphics, but no proper nouns are. So here's the word Hulk, like, the Hulk. Then we have our word from vocabulary last week, gam gam, and knowing that the double M's don't get pronounced, so we can cross those off. And this is the verb to smash. And followed by another vocabulary word from last week, which is aspired, followed by he, and in the past, so he aspired with the N and the F pronoun. Then you may remember the word to go, per, with the determinative of the running feet. That's a very common verb because people go all the time. And where do you go? Well, if go is followed by an R, open mouth glyph, you're going towards something. And what you're going towards is hopefully a town, not the sun. So yes, if I had properly put a X through that circle and you knew this was a place, you would translate it as NWYRK, which if you write that out, it spells New York without, the vowels. So one quick determinative update and it may make more sense, but again, hopefully just transliterating and translating it, you were still able to accomplish the fact that you saw the Hulk aspiring toward smashing and aspiring towards New York. So yeah, this is what happens when I mix up my channels and start doing the action figure stuff with the hieroglyphics. All right, so the tenses still work though, and putting Hulk and New York in as your proper nouns doesn't change anything. It could still be, Ramses smashing and heading towards Dejeju or Abydos. So, all right, let's talk a little bit more about what I mentioned, graphical transposition. And this is when the rules don't apply. Not like Neo in the Matrix, but more so the rules we've learned about where different letters are going to appear. So it's different for when you have graphical transposition. It may mean no abbreviations, special writing, multiple forms of graphical transposition, and often when you see these kind of rule breakers, they don't have determinatives. All right, we've covered this in the past, but it's absolutely good to come back. Let's look at a very common word from Egypt's stela, which is Horichabai. So this doesn't look like that word, does it? No. So it looks like it's herb if you were going to read it straight. So this is an example of all three of those. It's an abbreviation, it's got graphical transposition, and it's got, sort of cultural meaning. This is the word Horichabat, lecture priest, basically meaning a rabbi who reads to you, or a priest who reads to you, or is the keeper of the holy books. So if you were going to write this out in full glyphs, you might write it like this, with the HR glyph, followed by Y, followed by the H, followed by the B, followed by a T, Horichabat. So remembering to put your dashes and dots under your H's so you know how to pronounce them. All right, see how we updated the lesson for the current themes? What they've done here is graphical transposition, taking the two larger in height glyphs and putting them on either side of the more squanty glyph, if you will. So taking the full word carrier and book, so carrier of the book, and taking the essential elements of these two words, so you're abbreviating, like don't or can't, where you take multiple words and put them together, and not only are you abbreviating here, but you're also having graphical transposition, moving the taller glyphs to the sides. So that's why this becomes Harichabat, lecture priest, even though it's not even close to reading like that. But it's an example of not just an abbreviation, taking two words and squishing them together, but moving the glyphs around because, well, you were writing the glyphs probably on a wall or a piece of papyrus, and you might run into, well, the end of the wall, if you will. And Egyptians wanted their writing to look pretty, oh so pretty. That's why they do graphical transposition. It makes the glyphs look nicer. Writing it with the two tall glyphs on either side of the more squat glyph or the shorter glyph makes the word just physically, aesthetically, look nicer. Simple as that. Let's look at another example. So here we have the name of a place, which you recognize because of the X, determinative, as we've noted. So this is the town Deju, or Ju, or Dejdu, depending on how your tongue can move inside of your mouth and pronounce ancient towns. So you'll notice that the determinative has been moved from the end of the name to the middle, much like the verb to see. If you were going to write this as sort of following all the rules and putting the determinative at the end, it might look something like this at the bottom. The reason this is not done is because this small circular glyph is now hanging off the end and no longer looks pretty. And Egyptians wanted their writing to look as pretty as possible, so they would make exceptions. The same thing for writing the word vertically. The version on the left there looks a lot prettier than the version on the right, where, again, the determinative for a place, the circle with the X, is just hanging off a cliff. And except for this guy, nobody pretty much in the world wants to hang off of a cliff. All right, the other type of transposition are honorific. Not like English honorifics, which are Mr. and Mrs. That's actually what an honorific is. Or I guess Lord, but we don't have lords in America yet. In Egypt, they had honorific transposition to make things look pretty and to honor things. So in this case, we're dealing with the word king, which you want to honor, right? Nothing gets bigger than a king except for maybe a god. So king is the word nesu, N-S-W. But if you look at the order of the glyphs you're looking at, you've got S-W, then you've got a T, and then an N, if you're reading them in the correct order, from left to right and up to down. So this does not say nesu, it says swatn, swatnen, which is not a word. So you could write it like this, neswa, and the T is silent in this case. That's a whole other story, but go with me on this, it's an exception. The reason that these are moved around is to honor the king. So the first word for king, the SW glyph of the double shoot, much like we were doing with graphical, we're going to now do honorific. So here we have the word chumneter, which is priest. But you'll notice it's not written chumneter, it's written in reverse, where neter, the three trilateral sound, is moved in front of chum. You're still going to pronounce it chumneter, but you're going to write it neter chum, or like it is on the right there, with the, if you will, think of it as the flag before the bat. So these are your three glyphs you're going to want to look out for. So neter, swa, and nefer, essentially meaning holy, lord or king, and wonderful, perfect beauty. These three glyphs tend to have honorific transposition, and they'll be moved to the front of a word to honor them, but they're pronounced afterwards in the correct pronunciation order. It's transposition. All right. Hope you enjoyed this lesson. Let me know any questions. We're going to definitely pepper vocabulary and pronunciation with more and more of the structure lessons, and we're going to keep going until we're all, fluent, right? And we can talk to each other in this. Hope you're enjoying. Like this video, share it, and I appreciate having you in class. See you next time.